This is 7.5 Radio with Walter Yerkew and Peter Scoop Stanton. This is the radio show that will break your neck, if your neck needs breaking. And here are the hosts of 7.5 Radio, Walter Yerkew, star of the biggest documentary movie ever made, The 7.5, and Peter Scoop Stanton, who starred in To Catch a Predator.
How many more times treat me the way you want to do?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, one and all. This is Peter Scoop Stanton with Walter Yerkew on 7.5 Radio. We are red hot rolling the 25th of October, 2025. Check us out, 75radio.org, the number 75radio.org. And this segment is sponsored by Bubs Naturals. Go to bubsnaturals.com or click on the link from our website. Type in 75 Radio for 20% off your order. Walter, how are we doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing fairly well. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. Unfortunately, Mr. Rickbrand, he's out sick tonight, smoking, once again, too much raccoon poop. I told him that's going to kill him, but he will be with us next week. We have a special show next week. Anyways, first order of business, as always, to remember members of the law enforcement community who were murdered in the line of duty. Tonight, we have no names to read off, but many members of law enforcement were killed in traffic accidents. Please be safe, one and all. Also, we want to say hello to all of our special listeners, including New York's finest, New York's bravest, New York's boldest, New York's strongest, and those living on Long Island in the 2nd Congressional District, as well as Little Billy Keebler in the men and alleged woman of the Yanadasas, New York Fire Department, also known as the Cellar Savers. Be safe, one and all. So, tonight we have a special guest. We have a friend of the show, and unlike Opie and Anthony, when we say a friend of the show, we mean a friend who just happens to be on the show. Tonight we have one of the greatest photographers on planet Earth, and he is a huge rock and roll enthusiast. We have plenty to talk about. Also, most importantly, he is the husband of the lovely Shelley Morgenstein. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Barry Morgenstein to 7.5 Radio. How are we doing tonight, Barry?
Great. Good to hear from you. Thanks for having me on again.
Not a problem. Well, Barry, the first time you came on this network, it was the Liberty Roundtable during the day. So since we're 7.5 Radio, we're a little bit kind of like after dark type of radio. But anyways,
oh God,
yeah. Some of the things said on the air. Anyways, I'll say that for later. But anyways, Barry, you have a hell of a story. Born in the city of our birth, the city of New York. Also, you started out in the as a wannabe rock and roll star, like any teenage boy. How did you get into music?
Just growing up. I grew up in the late '60s, early the '70s. So I was a rock and roll guy, long-haired rock and roller, and loved to listen to music and wanted to play guitar. And picked up a guitar, started playing, and was in a local band with my friends, and kind of realized early on that I didn't have the talent to make a career out of it. So that's how I kind of got into photography. I picked up a camera, started photographing my fellow musicians, and my girlfriend, who was the lead singer in the band at the time, started photographing her, and realized, since I love music, I had an eye and I knew how to capture the musicians, and that was kind of like my into the music business. So that's how I kind of fell into that.
Right. Wow. So like they say, like if you do something that you love, you never work a day in your life. So
yeah,
you got a book. You got a book coming out called Rock and Soul. I guess it's a coffee table book. Now, is it a picture book?
It's all pictures. There's some stories in there, some kind of cool background stories, the photos, some funny stories. But yeah, kind of a compilation of my career over the years of shooting live stuff and other studio stuff of musicians. So yeah, it was time. People kept telling me. My wife kept saying, "You got to do a book. Got to do a book." And people said, "You got to do a book to show your legacy." And So, I finally got around to it and went through all the photos, my slides, my black and white negatives. There's a lot of scanning, a lot of deciding what to do or what to put in the book. So it's 136 pages of, I guess, the best of over the years.
Outstanding.
It's pretty cool book. It's be a great gift for Christmas, Hanukkah, the holidays. So
Right.
yeah, we're pretty excited about it.
And a note to all those who share my last name, it is a picture book. So go ahead and pick up this book called Rock and Soul. But anyways, Barry, how did you get into photography? Was it just through music you're able to take pictures of people in the industry?
Yeah, well, I started off as like I said, shooting my friends. I kind of learned my craft shooting local rock clubs in New Jersey, New York. Then I got a job as an assistant with a big rock photographer in New York City, Mark Weiss. He was a big, I guess, a heavy metal guy. He did all the metal guys during the 80s, and I was his assistant. He started a photo agency and would start sending me out. I would start shooting concerts and, kind of learning how to shoot and making connections with record companies, magazines, and just kind of went on my own after 2 years working with him. And through my connections, continued shooting for, a lot of rock concerts and, so yeah, again, for, rock and roll magazines, and sometimes record companies will hire me.
Wow. So you must have been in a hog heaven because, were you able to meet any of your idols?
Yeah, for sure. So tell some good stories in the book too. When I first photographed Paul McCartney, I photographed him performing, but I got to see him backstage at Madison Square Garden. I got to meet Elton John and, shoot. I was his personal photographer for 2 Madison Square Garden shows in New York City. And I was the only photographer in what they call the photo pit, which you usually share with 20 or 30 other photographers. This time it was me all by myself. And there's actually a funny story with that in the book too, but I got some really killer shots of Elton, which you will see. And so I've met some great people. Stevie Ray Vaughan was pretty amazing. I've had a lucky career. I got to see a lot of great shows, people I've admired.
Wow. So who's the one artist you loved photographing?
Well, probably McCartney. Being a big Beatles fan, that was pretty crazy and pretty cool. I enjoyed Chuck Berry was at the top of my list, who's in the book. I got to, I'm a big rock and roll fan, so I go back to the originators of rock and roll, like Elvis, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, all those guys, Little Richard. So I got to actually photograph one of the greats, who's the father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry, and it was like in a small, intimate New York club called the Ritz, which is no longer there. But I was up close, got some good sweaty shots. One shot of him looking right at me, smiling. So it was that's up there as a favorite for sure.
Right. Are there any musicians that you wish you could photograph, but either for whatever reason they were out of the business or they're no longer with us?
Well, maybe I guess there's some that I wish I photographed. It was still with us. I just never got a chance to photograph, like maybe Eric Clapton. It's probably some I'm not thinking of at the moment because I have photographed so many. Older, like going back, I wish I got to photograph somebody like Muddy Waters. I never got to photograph him. I did get to photograph the great B.B. King because I love the blues, but so I got B.B. King, but missed out on Muddy Waters. So yeah, there's probably a few like those guys. Would have been nice. Wow. Yeah, some like earlier bands maybe from the '60s I might have missed too. Of course, Beatles would have been great too. I got McCartney. I have Ringo Starr in the book, but the Beatles as a whole would have been cool.
Right. What's Paul McCartney like? Because he seems like a real down to earth guy. Because I know after 9/11 he visited the firehouse closest to Ground Zero. And just
and he performed at the tribute concert too in Madison Square Garden, where he sang that song he wrote for the occasion, "Freedom" it was called. So it was pretty great. But yeah, he was very down to earth and just a good guy. Which I always tell everybody. I always find that sometimes the bigger the stars, the nicer they are too. So right. I don't know why that is. Maybe they're more comfortable with themselves or whatever. They're secure, so they're just really cool, laid back people. So he was really great.
Right, right. I bet when I was younger, well, back in 2008, I was able to meet two members of the Doors. They were on tour, and it just they were real down to earth. But of course, I was, I had a few too many already. I'm nervous. I'm meeting my idols, but they were really down to earth. And there's a clip of Raymond Zurich. He was somewhere, some residential neighborhood, and some garage band was playing the Doors, so he came in and was jamming with the garage band, which was neat. Anyways, we're coming to our first commercial break. We come back, we'll spend more time with Barry Morgenstein, talk about rock and roll and the news, and anything, any questions Walter might have. This is 75 Radio on Liberty News Radio Network.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness, and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com. Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Free Water Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began. Free Water, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication to excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Free Water Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Free Water Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at freewatercoinco.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Free Water Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
You're back, and Scoop is just getting done staring at Tamila's Instagram account. Here's more 7.5 Radio.
And we are back. Scoop Stanton, Walter Yerkew with one of the greatest photographers of all time, the Jimmy Page of photography, Barry Morgenstein.
I like
in
that.
February, I met Barry through friends of ours, mutual friends of ours, and he took a selfie with yours truly, and I looked very good. And I was like, wow. And he took the picture with the phone. I was like, oh my God, imagine what he could do with a camera. Anyways, so Barry, the book's coming out, Rock and Soul is coming out, was it November the 4th, Election Day?
Yeah, that's the official date, but to be honest with you, I have a whole bunch in stock at my studio. So if people go to my website, barrymorgenstein.com, they order it, they'll ship out right away, and I'll sign it for them too. So, and you can request whatever you want me to write to them too. So, yeah, it'll be eventually after the 4th, it'll be available on Amazon, at Ballast Books, my publisher, who's an excellent publishing company, and hopefully in bookstores too. So, but yeah, they're pretty much available right now through my site. And I gotta say, I like that title, the Jimmy Page of photography. I may have to steal that. That's pretty cool.
Right. So anyways, folks, it's available. Go out and get you a bunch of copies. And remember, if you have the same last name as myself, family, go buy the book. It's a picture book. Anyways, but those who live in the DMV, as we like to say, which is the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia, Barry, you're going to be in town on the November the 15th. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. That's my first launch party for the book. Because I have a lot of friends and clients in the area, and I had two of my clients who they basically volunteered to host it. So we're having it at the it's called the Wino. It's a restaurant, bar, club, whatever, in Arlington, Virginia, November 15th. So yeah, stop by. I'll be signing books there too. We have a pretty cool crowd coming. Hopefully have music and photos being taken, and meet some cool people. And you can pick up the book and meet me, and I'll sign your book. So it should be fun.
Right, and I've been at this venue before. It's called Wino, WHINO, which is located at 4242 Wilson Boulevard in Arlington, Virginia. It is in the Boston Commons Mall. You have to pay for parking. It's only $1, cheapos. But it's a really nice venue. It's a huge venue, and I know mutual friends of ours will be there. I'm even going to be there, but I can't. Yep.
Yeah,
so,
bring some friends too. Feel free to bring your friends.
Well,
he doesn't have any friends.
Thank you, Walter.
That's funny.
I got
maybe you'll meet some on the way.
Yeah, I have associates I owe money to, but that's a different story. But it's a really nice upscale venue.
Good to know. Yeah. I've just seen pictures.
Yeah, and unfortunately for yours truly, they do not sell Pabst Blue Ribbon in 16-ounce cans. So, but I'll rough it. So, but anyways, it should be fun. I know a couple of friends, at least one friend of, a couple of friends of ours are going to be there. I'm not going to put them on Front Street, but they want to they want to let you know, or they should already let you know. It should be fun. Meet Barry. You can meet Scoop Stanton live in the flesh. But those who I do owe money to, I will not be there. I'll be out of town. So, anyways, but it should be fun.
Just buy them $1. They'll forgive you.
Right. But listen, folks. If you never met Barry, he's a real down to earth guy. I met him at CPAC, and we did radio with Sam Bushman together, and we hung out for the whole rest of the time there. Just an absolute blast.
It's good time.
Those who do live in the DMV, not the Department of Motor Vehicles, but the DC area, come out, meet Barry, meet Scoop, have some fun. And hopefully, if they do have a DJ playing, hopefully they'll play some Grand Funk Railroad, because I'm sick and tired of going to these fancy parties, and they got DJ there spinning records, and they don't play any Grand Funk Railroad, Steve Miller Band, or the Quicksilver Messenger service. But I digress. Walter, do you have any questions for a guest about his book or his career in photography?
No, just a few comments. I mean, it sounds like unique lifestyle, and you meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of strange people. You meet normal people. And as far as McCartney goes, I mean, that guy's had his picture taken every day since 1957.
Right. Yes,
so I mean, how do you accomplish a better picture than pictures from the last 67 years?
That's a really good question, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think I got a really cool shot. I photographed him live. It was at Madison Square Garden. I think I got a cool shot. I think it's a little different from other shots, but I'm never going to say that I got the best shot of him or a better shot. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's been shot by the best photographers. He was photographed with the Beatles. He was photographed with Wings in the 70s. So, there's so many great shots of him, and I think I was lucky and I got a great one too. Just hopefully it's a little different from the others. We all have our own styles, but yeah, definitely not better or worse, but it's a cool shot.
So you get hired to actually take the pictures. I mean, you're not chasing people around like they did to Prince Di.
No, don't do paparazzi. I was hired by either rock and roll magazines or maybe the record companies or newspaper or something like that. But I'm always there with a official photo pass, and you have to have permission to be the photo pass.
In my world, that's really cool.
I'm pretty lucky.
And you're a down to earth guy. I've read a little bit about you. You're a down to earth guy.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm sure you've run into, like Scoop was saying, and you were saying earlier that McCartney. I'm just using him as the example. Is a very nice man.
Right.
He knows who he is. He knows how much money he's got. He knows what he's done the past 60 odd years. But he's a down to earth guy. And then you take somebody like Madonna, which she has a bad reputation. Now Lady Gaga's getting a bad reputation. What you said was the people that know that they're famous or know that they didn't put themselves on that pedestal. It's the people that are putting themselves on the pedestal that is somebody that I wouldn't want to meet, somebody I wouldn't want to work for, somebody I wouldn't even want to take a picture of, even with a Kodak camera. So, it's got to be tough, when you get into a situation. I'm sure you've been in awkward situations where somebody who thought they were better than everybody else, had a blowout.
For sure.
And cleared the room.
Yeah,
cleared the room. I'm going to my trailer. That kind of nonsense.
Right.
So, I couldn't put up with that. I'd probably punch De Niro in the mouth. I'd probably punch him in the mouth anyway. But,
I've never impressed with that.
because they treat you like the help,
Right.
And you're not the help.
Yeah.
You've been hired to do a job, and because of attitude, I guess what they say, bad press is good. Any press is good press, because they can't get the good press. So, but no, man, kudos to you for having a good career and taking photographs.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was. I was lucky for the most. Most of the people I met were great. Had a few maybe with the attitude, which but for the most part, I was pretty lucky, with decent people.
Right. Don't let Scoop give you any crap.
Yeah, no, I never did.
Why would I give him crap? Well, listen.
You think you're famous.
Well, I'm famous. I host this the most popular radio show on Liberty News Radio at 10 o'clock on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. But there was one incident. I asked Barry. I said, Barry, I like to do a boudoir shot. He's like, okay. Then like, who? With who? Just me. And he had some choice words and smashed his camera. But anyways, I digress. But Barry, outside of photography, what are some of the bands that you really look up to besides the Beatles?
Oh, I guess the usual top bands, the Stones. I'm a big Stones fan. I'm a major Who fan. Love the Who. I just took my wife to go see the Who for their final tour, and they're in their Daltrey and Townsend who are in the 80s, but I have to say they sounded absolutely freaking amazing. I mean, for an 80-year-old, I was really expecting to go see.
Yeah, he's old. I saw a picture of that. It's like, who's still standing?
Yeah, but I mean, when he had the vocals, his vocals were still there, and he nailed some of those screams from "Won't Get Fooled Again" and "Love Rain" on Me. So I mean, I was pretty impressed, and but I like all the classic. I like classic rock. I like the blues. Kind of all the classic stuff, like the big Allman Brothers fan, the band Dylan, big Dylan fan, Led Zeppelin, all those bands. So pretty wide variety. Sly and the Family Stone, a lot of R&B from the 70s, Stevie Wonder. So pretty wide variety. Would go back to Sinatra too. As long as music is good, good music is just good music. Doesn't matter when it's from.
Right. But, Barry, what's your opinion of music in the past, 30 years? I think it's just absolute crap. I think
I'm with you.
And I think, is it the record industry or the radio industry that just killed it? They killed music.
I don't know what it is. There's just no good musicians around. I mean, I won't even call them musicians. I don't know what like 20, 25 years from now, nobody's going to remember I don't think they can remember a Taylor Swift or a what's her name, Beyonce song. I couldn't name one song by either one of those. Yeah, it's like
right.
It's not gonna be. They're not gonna be remembered like a Sinatra or a Stones or whatever. It's like just not like great music.
All right, we come back. We'll have more Walter and Barry. Stay tuned, everybody.
Your daily Liberty Newswire. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Mary Rose. Democrats in Virginia are working to disenfranchise the state's Republican voters by pushing for a redistricting plan that would give them a permanent supermajority in the state.
Last November, President Donald Trump received 46.6% of the votes. If this redistricting plan passes, it would mean Republicans would hold only 18% of the state House seats in a state where at least 40% of the voters are Republicans. In 2020, the overwhelming majority of Virginians voted for a constitutional amendment that codified nonpartisan redistricting. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin calls a new redistricting proposal, quote, nuts. Youngkin added that Democrats are, quote, trying to run some desperate plan to redistrict Virginia. I think it's unconstitutional. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says it's time to reopen the government.
Chuck Schumer doesn't do anything that doesn't have a political component to it. And honestly, I think that's what's driving this. If you think about it, there really isn't any other explanation. I think they're so scared of their hardcore base.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Democrat leaders are being swayed by the radicals. This past week, President Trump and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese signed a critical minerals deal at the White House with the eyes the continent's rich rare earth resources at a time when China is imposing tougher rules on exporting its own critical minerals abroad. Economist Steve Moore with the Committee to Unleash Prosperity says there is a solution to the U.S. dependence on China for the critical minerals.
We have far more of these minerals than China does. Why is it that today we're dependent on Beijing for our critical minerals, which are necessary for our manufacturing, our defense systems, our microchips? So the first thing we have to do, and this is something that our great Interior Secretary Doug Burgum wants to do, is not just drill, baby, drill, but mine, baby, mine.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Whether you're preparing for exams, juggling family and career, or just looking to stay sharp as you age, Think Factor is here to help. Created by the same company that makes Relief Factor, Think Factor supports sharper focus, stronger recall, and clearer thinking. It's the natural way to give your brain the daily nutrients it needs for memory, attention, and even vibrant vision. Call 800-4RELIEF. 800, the number 4RELIEF, or visit ReliefFactor.com to learn more. Look, I was a little bit skeptical. I started taking Think Factor. After a few weeks, wow, my memory, my focus, my concentration, better than ever. And Think Factor results get better the longer it's taken. If you want to stay focused during demanding tasks, keep your memory strong, maintain mental energy for whatever's ahead, well, Think Factor is for you. Call 800-4RELIEF. 800, the number 4RELIEF, or visit ReliefFactor.com to learn more and order Think Factor. Your first bottle is just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily. Call 800-4RELIEF or visit ReliefFactor.com for Think Factor.
You know where the solution can be found, Mr. President? In churches, in wedding chapels, in maternity wards across the country and around the world. More babies will mean forward-looking adults, the sort we need to tackle long-term, large-scale problems. American babies in particular are likely going to be wealthier, better educated, and more conservation-minded than children raised in still industrializing countries. As economist Tyler Cowen recently wrote, quote, by having more children, you're making your nation more populous, thus boosting its capacity to solve climate change. The planet does not need for us to think globally and act locally so much as it needs us to think family and act personally. The solution to so many of our problems, at all times and in all places, is to fall in love, get married, and have some kids.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to LocalHoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at LocalHoneyman.com.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Wow, you're still listening? Here's more 7.5 Radio.
And we are back. Scoop Stat with Walter Yerkew and our guest, Barry Morgenstein, who's coming out with a picture book called Rock and Soul. Go to barrymorgenstein.com, order your book. Also, those who live in the DMV, come out to Wino on the 15th of November. Meet Barry, meet yours truly. Buy Barry a couple drinks, buy me a couple dozen drinks, and buy a couple books. Anyways, Barry, we'll move over to the news. I know one sucky podcast called Best of New Jersey booked you to promote the book. And then they did a little research about your stance on certain issues and decided to cancel. Well, the best of New Jersey is the worst of New Jersey, and they can go pound sand. Now, if you came on and told us, I love Joe Biden, I voted for Kamala Harris, and Democrats are the greatest things since sliced bread, we would still have you on. But fortunately for you, you're very intelligent, and you are on our side of the issue. So, anyways, without further ado, first story I want to get to, Barry, is Robert De Niro. We used to have respect for Bobby D, but you hear what happened? What he did last week?
I did. I forget exactly what he said, but I know I heard it. But remind me. I know just as usual.
Okay, well, he was on. He was on MSNBC for about 10 people viewing it throughout the nation, and he called Stephen Miller a Nazi. And then
right. Yeah, how could I forget that? Yeah.
Right, and
Stephen
then
Miller, Jewish guy.
Yeah, and when the airhead on MSNBC, the host said, "Well, Miller's Jewish." Yeah, I know. He should be ashamed. I'm like, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. What? Barry, what's your take on this? Since you are I guess you are a practicing Jew, or like Kinky Friedman used to say, you follow the religious choice of your parents. What's your take on Robert De Niro calling a Jewish guy a Nazi?
Yeah, he's a really, I don't know if I can say what I can say, but I mean, he's a real piece of, you know what, I mean, he's such a he's such a freaking moron. It's amazing to me when you see somebody who's obviously a talented guy, and he's a great actor, but how somebody could be so talented and be so effing stupid, because he is a freaking moron. He's one of the, I mean, a lot of dumb people in Hollywood. He's him with like Mark Ruffalo. I mean, there's a whole group of them that are just beyond dumb. And it's like, I mean, I have no words, but it's just like he's a washed up, angry old guy, as Stephen Miller said, basically. So it's just ludicrous to go. But I've been called like I said, I'm Jewish and I'm conservative, but I've been called a Nazi too because I support Trump. And so go figure, right? My response to these guys is I always say, well, I've read a lot of books, I've seen a lot of documentaries on Nazis. I'm pretty sure they won't allow me in their club. So so you're a freaking idiot.
What? Well, what say you about Robert De Niro? Because we clown him all the time now.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned before, punching him in the face would be, something that would be picture worse on the front page of the Daily News. No matter how much he sued me or whatever jail I ended up in, it would be worth it.
Yeah, for sure. He's.
I want you to take my mug shot because I want to look better than the last one.
Right, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
The last mug shot I took was, in New York, they wrap that chain around your neck with a card in front of you, with your name on it, date of arrest and all that. It's only on one chain. It's only chained on one side. They wanted me to hold it. Right? Screw you! I ain't hold. That's your job. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing that. You know. So,
I think I saw that. Saw that in Serpico.
Yeah. So De Niro just is way far beyond what his talents are right now.
Right.
And he's overstepping his bounds, which really mean nothing to probably half the Democrats. Anyway, means nothing to the
nobody cares about this. No, he goes on those rants.
He should be the poster boy for celebrities that nobody pays attention to their political beliefs. And it's not really political beliefs. I think it's just stunts, to get on the air,
Yeah, I don't know. Right. Some of them believe it. Some maybe stunts. Some of them actually believe that crap. Like, I think Mark Ruffalo, he's another one who's dumb enough to believe the shit that he says. Nope, if I can say that. Yeah, De Niro's just like, he's an angry guy. He hasn't made a movie worth seeing in probably 30 years, I think, that I can think of. You see the guy who was in Godfather 2 and Deer Hunter and whatever, Goodfellas. He's like he's another person now. He's a joke. His movies, I wouldn't go see any of those stupid movies he does now. So he's probably just bitter about that. So he's angry at everybody.
He's mistaken about his mainstream life. I mean, he only plays a gangster in the movies. He's not a real gangster.
Exactly. He's a wimp. Yeah, he's a wimp. He's
and short. Short at that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you
I
hate America like that, then you're a weak guy.
I don't think anybody should be paying much attention to De Niro, and it's a shame because he has made some good movies. And
he certainly has a legacy back.
Just taking advantage of his prestige, that was handed to him.
Yeah, but it just thinks people care what he says, but most normal people don't care. Real Americans don't care. For sure.
To call it Jewish
leftist,
that's so ridiculous. I'm sure most of his Jewish friends in the business are not answering his phone calls either. So.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, except for the leftist ones, they might be, but so I hate to say. But Stephen Miller was he's just a great guy, and what has he done? Name one thing he's done that represents anything that Nazis have done. He's doing great things for the country, working for Trump, and their policies are amazing. They're pro-American, they're good for the country. Arresting illegals, arresting pedophiles. That's not that's a good thing. Even though Democrats may want you to think otherwise, or they get upset over that, I don't care. Those are good things. It's good for the country, so they can rant all they want. Votes. Nobody cares. Yeah,
Trump is having nice the rest of the mainstream voters too. So,
yeah, right, absolutely.
But here's the thing, gentlemen. The term Nazi is short for the National Socialist German Workers' Party. And I seriously, Stephen Miller does not come across as a socialist, so I don't know where Bobby D's getting his thing. But like I told Walter in the past, we were talking about the hens on the View. I think people just spew out garbage so they can get what they call in the wrestling industry heat. It's like, oh, do you hear what Robert De Niro said? Maybe he's got a project coming out, or they want clicks on YouTube or TikTok or whatever media platform they have their podcast on, because everybody's got a podcast. My dog has a podcast and he gets better numbers than us. Anyways, so
and the numbers don't lie. In any of this political nonsense. With the No Kings things last week. An estimated 7 million people across the country. Protested in the No Kings issues. And that comes out to about 1.3 people per square mile. So I didn't hear anybody a mile away, So it's just, they take pictures of the biggest crowds, AI and make them look bigger. And, the right is supposed to be in fear. And then you got Kamala saying that she might run for president. So it's just, it's ridiculous. Trying to be show business,
right?
Well, I went to a No Kings rally last week to see what the hubbub is about, and they had it in right near a shopping center with a Trader Joe's supermarket. So you already know it's a very well-to-do neighborhood. And it was like the Subaru Mafia, the Ozempic Gang, and AARP got together for a rally. No black or brown faces. Everybody's either is over the age of 70 or has a 70-inch waist. It was just a hot mess.
Yeah,
and
it's a freak
nothing.
show. It's a freak show.
Yeah, and
That's something you want to take a picture of.
No, and I did take it. I took a couple pictures. Some person dressed up as like a big orange, an inflatable orange, and some other person dressed up as a shark. So, anyways, it was.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, mental.
Nobody
It was
dressed
a
up
problem in
as
this
a vagina.
country. Yeah, that was last.
Some lady dressed up as a Statue of Liberty had a sign that said "resist" in different symbols, like the old coexist bumper stickers on the Priuses.
Yeah.
So
God,
the I in resist was supposed to be a black fist, but it looked like a phallus, and the T in resist was ovaries. Anyways, we come back. We'll wrap it up with Barry Morgenstein. This is 7.5 Radio. We'll be right back. Take away, boys.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of LNR's hard-hitting news and podcasts at your fingertips anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com.
The Foundation for Moral Law is a nonprofit legal foundation committed to protecting our unalienable right to publicly acknowledge God. The Foundation for Moral Law exists to restore the knowledge of God in law and government, and to acknowledge and defend the truth that man is endowed with rights not by our fellow man, but by God. The Foundation maintains a twofold focus. First, litigation within state and federal courts. Second, education, conducting seminars to teach the necessity and importance of acknowledging God in law and government. How can you help? Please make a tax-deductible contribution, allowing Foundation attorneys to continue the fight. You may also purchase various Foundation products as well at morallaw.org. Located in Montgomery, Alabama, the Foundation for Moral Law is a nonprofit, tax-exempt 501c3 founded by Judge Roy Moore. Please partner with us to achieve this important mission. morallaw.org.
Introducing Managed IT Services from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
This is 7.5 Radio with Walter Yuku. Walter Yurkow. Walter Kiwi. Here's Walton Scoop.
And we are back. Scoop Stanton with Walter Yurkow and Barry Morgenstein. Anyways, during those very important commercials for morallaw.com and Manage IT, where I guess they do computer stuff, I was doing my very due diligence and looking at the Instagram account of our spokesmodel, the lovely Danella Rodriguez. Make sure you follow her at Danella Rodriguez at .model on Instagram. Oh boy. But anyways, also make sure you go to BarryMorgenstein.com, buy yourself a book, or come out to Washington, D.C., November the 15th to Wino. Not Ned the Wino, but the place called Wino at Boston Commons Mall. Buy yourself a couple dozen books, give them out as Christmas gifts. Anyways, finally, Barry, like myself, like Mr. Yurkow, you too were born in the city of New York. What's your take on the mayor's race?
Oh, my take is if Curtis doesn't win, we are screwed. We are like a big time. Everybody's probably not going to. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be the Islamic communists. So you can imagine what's coming up next. So I mean, it's amazing that this guy, 25 years after the anniversary of 9/11, and we're about to elect a pro-Hamas, probably a Islamist communist as mayor of the biggest city in the country. So it's kind of it's too insane to think about, but it seems like it's going to happen.
Why do you think that people are support?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's just, I don't know. We've just imported people in this country who have not, they're not real America. They don't love America. They don't understand. They haven't, what's the word I'm looking for? Assimilated. They're not assimilated to this country, I guess. There's these young people who's been indoctrinated by the education system and the media, think this guy's good, that socialism is great, or communism, or whatever. We're like more on the pro-Hamas side, so it's pretty bad. It's not. I don't know what happened to the city. I don't know what happened to this country that this is even possible. There's a time this never could have happened.
Right. Well, my theory is that since Mandami's promising a whole bunch of free stuff, these idiots that do live in the 5 boroughs, they're going to vote for it, not knowing how it's going to get paid for. It's going to get paid for by taxes, or they're going to start cutting services.
That's just ignorance, and the crime is going to skyrocket. This clown wants to empty jails, he says. I know for a fact thousands of police will resign. They're not going to want to serve under his administration because they're going to be afraid to do their job because he'll punish them. He's more pro-criminal than he is pro-police. He's anti-ICE. He's a lunatic. I mean, it's bad news. It's really bad news. It's pretty scary that's come to this. But unfortunately, it looks like he's going to win. I'm kind of pissed off at fellow Republicans who kind of like from the beginning said, well, Curtis can't win, so unfortunately we got to hold our nose and vote for Cuomo. I think that's a bunch of crap. I think if everybody got behind Curtis from the beginning, really pushed him, maybe he would have had a shot, And I'm even disappointed in President Trump, who of course I love, a big supporter. He didn't back Curtis. I'm not sure what that's about, but so I'm disappointed. Yeah, so a lot of blame to go around on this one, I think.
Right.
But New York is going to pay, and they're going to pay fast.
Right. And we said Curtis is not the perfect candidate by a long shot. He run around with a beret at 71 years old and cats and whatnot. But anyways, Walt, did you hear that Curtis quit his gig at WABC radio?
Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
What?
Looks like ABC's making a turn for the worse, and they wanted to push him out or ask him to push himself out of the race. And, he just told him, what for, and, okay, if that's the way you feel about me, the hell with you. Cuomo's the one that should probably leave the race. And give
that's what I said.
A better chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but yeah, he quit.
And Curtis's numbers have gone up in the past few, I think since the last debate, they're actually saying he would probably have a better chance if it was him against Mandami, whatever his name is. So, it's a shame that they probably... I think it's probably too late now, but they should have backed him before. And to be honest with you, the beret doesn't bother me. I think he's fine. I love the Guardian Angels. I remember him in the '70s defending his. He was pro anti-crime, anti-police. That's not a really important issue. I think it's just his policies, and he's going to be tough on crime. So good for him. If he wants to wear the beret, let him wear the beret. Better than having an Islamist guy bowing down on his rug in the Gracie Mansion, if I can say so.
But right, but I'm just shocked because I as much as I love rock music, I also love talk radio. That's I got this, I got this gig thanks to bothering the host on the other show, James Edwards, on the Political Cesspool. But if I had a gig on WABC and they said, hey, you might want to just drop out, it's like, do I want to become mayor or continue on the world's greatest talk radio station in the biggest market? But You know, I remember, let's go down memory lane. I remember the days of like Bob Grant and Rush Limbaugh when he broadcast on WABC, and Curtis and his first wife, Lisa Sliwa, in the morning, and then Ed Koch. I took all my mannerisms from Ed Koch. That's why every other sentence or every other word out of my mouth is So, and remember Jay Diamond, but they also had Lynn Samuels and Joy Behar. So even back then they weren't perfect. But anyways, it's going to take another bad mayor before they get like the next Rudy Giuliani. Because if you remember, gentlemen, we back in the late '60s, early '70s, we had John Lindsay, and then we had Abe Beam. And then we had Ed Koch. He was good his first 2 terms, but his third term he just stunk. And then the David N for Nothing Dinkins, as Jay Diamond used to say.
Horrible.
Yeah, and then finally Giuliani came and just cleaned up New York and did a great job. And Mike Bloomberg, he did a pretty good job. He was a little bit too left of center for me. But then and as soon as Bill de Blasio won, everybody on this network said, "Yep, there goes New York." And boy, we were right.
Right.
And then the anti-white Eric Adams, who's just a real crap cop, he wins the election. And you know how he made rank, Barry? He sat at police headquarters behind a desk studying for the next exam. And he wasn't out there running and gunning. When he ran for office, no cop says, "Oh yeah, he's a cop's cop." He went out there running and gunning. Was down there. None of that. And then he's on tape saying he kicked the cracker's ass because he passed the promotional exam. But again, he was behind a desk, not out in the street. Well, any comments about bad mayors in our hometown?
Well, the last good mayor was United States mayor was Rudy Giuliani. He was recognized across the country for his work, pre 9/11, post 9/11. So, it's not just like 9/11 made him famous. He was doing well in New York before 9/11. So,
he was a great prosecutor.
And now he's been ostracized by many, which is totally unfair. But as far as good mayors, Mayor Koch, he had his moments, but then again, he picked Benjamin Moore to be police commissioner back in the mid '80s. He didn't have such a good track record. He had to keep asking everybody, "How am I doing?" That was his motto. How am I doing? If you got to ask how you doing, then you're not doing it. So and he was, trying to get into Bess Morrison's pants all the time. We know that didn't happen. One thing I remember about Ed Koch that was that made me angry was, he wanted another car. He had like an old Oldsmobile, that he would ride in the back as the mayor's car. And all he wanted was to upgrade to like a, 78 Cadillac. And it wasn't going to cost the city much. And the city turned him down. And, after that, then he stopped working for the city pretty much. Then he was the judge on the People's Court and stuff. So, he had his moments, but then again, I think he had more bad moments than good moments. He just happened to be at the right place at the right time, for the centennial in '86 and, events like that. But, if Koch was mayor during 9/11, it would have been a disaster, compared to what Giuliani did. So that's right. That's my thoughts on mayors that I've had to deal with.
Right, but forget before 9/11. Forget 9/11. Mayor Giuliani was the best mayor of the city of New York because he did make an appearance here on 7.5 Radio for about 10 seconds. We had Andrew Giuliani when he was running for governor. We had him as a guest host, not only as a guest, but we had him as a guest host, and he brought his father on, and of course I ruined the moment because I became a fanboy. So I stink. But anyways, last couple of seconds. Last millisecond. Anyways, for Walter Yerkew and Barry Morgenstein, this is Peter Scoop Standard reminding you can make a difference. Go out and make it. See you next week, everybody.
Edwards for 7-5 Radio. For those who work the streets and the jails, thanks for keeping us safe. So long, everybody.